Morning. Today is July 5th, 2023. This meeting is for our LGA realtors, and we just want to educate you guys, bring you guys up to par with the headlines, with the interest rates, and we have a few announcements. So we'll go over that too. And we got a few good topics for you guys to learn. And hopefully, everyone can hear me clearly. If you guys hear any static or if you have any issues hearing me, please let me know right away. And if you guys cannot see my screen for any presentation with slides, so hopefully you guys can see this market update. Just want to speak up, you can unmute yourself or just throw in your question or concerns in the chat box. I have that open on one side here. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Okay, so we always like to start off with our interest rates so you guys know how the market is performing. So as of last week, much did not change. It's still on the higher end. So according to Freddie Mac, the interest rates were 6.71 as one family with good credit score conforming loans. And according to Mortgage News Daily, yeah, sure, Julian, you can speak to me after meeting. I'll wait. Um, So, Mortgage News Daily updates, and according to them, it is 7.03%, which is definitely on the high end, what we have seen in the past months. It was definitely trending downwards. We were paying attention to that now, and now it's going back up. And obviously, the loan officer will be the one advising the borrower when to lock it. Sometime, maybe this time is not the best time to lock. Maybe they want to wait a week, 2 weeks, really depending on their situation when they want to lock. So this is your 30-year fixed conventional, and if you're 30-year fixed for FHA is a little bit less, around 6.88 as your national averages. Okay, so what's the headlines? What's in the news these days? Right past last week, there was one article stating finding inventory in a tight housing market. We know that the inventory is super low. Key Fed inflation measures shows that the prices rose just 0.03% in May. We as realtors, we should not worry about if the prices will increase or decrease. We just want to see more inventory so we can serve our clients, right? If the prices adjust, it's perfectly fine, right? But we just want to make sure there's more inventory out there. And another article was that house hunting is already tough. Guess what? It's about to get even harder, right? It will get harder. Why? Because there's a lot of clients, maybe a lot of your clients, when you're showing them, they're hesitating. It was like, oh, maybe I just want to wait until the interest rates drop. So the conversation with them should be something along the lines that, hey, yes, you sure can wait until the interest rates drop, but there's so many other people doing the same thing. When the interest rates do drop, there'll be a bidding war, just like how we had around COVID time. So the prices will not decrease, rather it will increase because there'll be more demand for it. Okay. So clients that's willing to wait, there's no way that we can push or pressure anyone to purchasing a house. We can just guide them when they're ready. But until then, they have to make the decision when they want to move forward. But there's going to be a cost for them to wait too. So it won't be as easy as they might think. So because the interest rates were so low around COVID time, majority of Americans, did a refinance where their interest rates dropped. That's one of the biggest reasons that we see that the inventory is not growing. And another good factor of that was that people who were delinquencies on their mortgages, meaning they're not making payments or they skipped a month or two, that is all time low right now. Again, reason being is that they already have a monthly mortgage payment that's affordable. They were able to take advantage of the COVID prices or the interest rates dropping, and they did a refi, and now they don't want to get out of that mortgage. So obviously foreclosures will be affected. It'll be less foreclosures, less short sales, because end of the day the homeowner is able to make those mortgage payments, so there's no involvement for your foreclosures. Okay. For newer home sales, don't get confused when we see just home sales or when it's new built home sales. Applications were up 3% for new home sales. Again, these investors that were waiting to build their house, the prices skyrocketed around COVID time for all the material that they were getting, and now they finally are able to sell their property because the inventory is low. People are paying the premium to purchase those property, right? So for new home sales, applications were up. Okay. And mortgage rates take up after 3 weeks of declines. Because of these meetings, you guys are seeing it on weekly basis that we're tracking these interest rates. We're definitely seeing it on the higher end. Anytime we're seeing above 7%, we know that is on the higher end compared to what we have been seeing in the sixes, low sixes. That's what we want to be at or below that. Okay. What happens to the buying power? Every time interest rates do change, the same monthly payment that you're making, let's say it's $3,100 you're making, but it really breaks down your affordability with higher interest rates. So let's say you're getting 6.5 compared to 7.25. So it's about 75 basis points difference. So 6.5 to 7.25, same payment, $3,100, but the person can get a loan up to 500,000 with 6.5, or they can get $463,000 if they're going with 7.25, right? Huge difference here. So these interest rates, when they change, point 0.5, 0.25, they do make a big difference when it comes to affordability. Your buying power decreases when the interest rates are higher, and vice versa. When the interest rates are lower, you can afford to purchase even a bigger property. Okay. Any questions, concerns, anything in your mind so far, guys? All right. So there's so many news that we read, there's so many headlines, there's so many positives and negatives out there. It really depends on which platform that you're listening on. It could be one topic. If you're watching on CNN compared to Fox, there'll be completely different point of views. So just think of that. Any news that, any headlines that you guys see, think of yourself. Hey, I'm a realtor. How could I grow? First thing is you want to think about your growth. You want to think bigger, like, hey, I've closed this much, I need to close even higher. How could I do that, right? You want to success breeds success, so you want to surround yourself with the right people. If you feel like there's someone in your in your circle that's like really bringing you down, maybe you need to reduce your time with them. You need to focus on your part of being a realtor. Do the things that's really needs to be done, and that's your number three. You really need to dig in, but you have to do the activity that will get you the results. You don't want to work on things that is not going to get you any results. You definitely want to do the things that will get you results and actually give you the money or the commission to make a good living out of this, right? So for realtors, it should be getting the listings. Hey, I want to be a listing agent. I want to be able to speak to the sellers. What do I need to do? Maybe you're on stage one where you don't know how to communicate or even start a presentation with a seller. Maybe some of you guys are expert at that. You just need more appointments. Everybody is on different levels. You need to start forming into a listing agent, and it will take time, but you need to start thinking about that. Hey, I want to be a listing agent, right? And doesn't matter how the market is performing. There's so many people, there's so many realtors, loan officers out there still making a great living because they're focusing on the right things. So take your piece of the pie and make sure that you can actually get some buying side or the selling side's closing done, even there's so many positive or negative headlines that we see. The reason we give you guys these headlines so you guys can see what's in the news. But at the same time, we want to tell you guys, hey, just don't look at one headline and just go with that. Okay. So thinking positive, right? So we are comparing these two charts here. One is for Queens and one is for Nassau. And we're looking at around 60 years of appreciation. So we're going back 60 years and we're going above in forecast of 5 years. Okay, so this is for Queens. So median house price in Queens was around 760,000, whereas in Nassau was around 674,000. Okay, so going back every year historical, you're looking at for Queens, the rate is around between 4 and 6%. Okay, and in Nassau is exactly very similar to that, not exactly the same, but very similar, 4 to 6% as well. Okay, so you can know that when what is the point of this? It's like if you purchase a house, you can think, hey, this property that I'm buying in Queens, or if I'm buying in Long Island, is it really worth it? Without doing any other research, you can be assured that instead of investing my money into anything else, if I invest in real estate, just looking at the last 60 years, the rate has been appreciated at least 4%. Forget the higher end, but at least 4%, right? Every year. So if that's the case, in 5 years, 5 year gain for Queen's House can bring in around $177,000 in equity. And for Nassau, it can bring around $100,000 in 5 years, right? That's not bad compared to any other investments out there, right? So, being a realtor, when you're having this conversation, you guys should be knowledgeable to say that, hey, any property that you're purchasing in Queens or Nassau, I don't know about other counties what their appreciation rate is, or but for these two counties, at least 4% going back even 60 plus years, right? It's even been higher, 5%, 6%. But even if you say on the lower end, it's still a lot that they're making money end of the whenever they plan to sell the property. Okay. I was having a conversation with one of our clients, and he's in Jersey now, and he was planning to purchase a house about 7 years ago, and just kept delaying it, and now he's ready to purchase a house. He's paying a premium with these higher interest rates. So, again, we cannot force these clients when they're ready and everything, but whenever they are, you never know when that will happen. So as realtors, so you might have clients in your database sitting there for 30 days, a year, God knows how long. But if you're not following up with those, you may lose them or her, right? So you want to make sure that you're following up with those clients through KV Core, so you stay in touch with them, right? When the client will be ready, God knows when that will happen. But every even now, he's thinking the same thing. Should I buy or not? But now, because the rent is going up and all that, it just makes sense to purchase. So he's purchasing it now, right? And now, looking at 5 years from now, we still think that it'll be a good move that he's doing it or making that move today. Okay. So it really depends on your client, but just know that appreciation in Queens and Nassau is around 4 to 6% historically. Okay. Any questions, guys? All right. So, being a homeowner, you need to know your property taxes, right? And the property taxes are one of the biggest, way of making money for the state, right, and the city. So, majority of the state's funding that the state is running on, it comes around 33% comes from property taxes. So, every year the property taxes are going up, and you can see that compared to 2022 to 2023, it went up around 3%, right? So every year is going up. There's so many people in Queens that were really benefiting from low property taxes, and all of a sudden are seeing even higher and higher property taxes every year, and there's no way around it. You if you live in that neighborhood, whatever your property tax or rate is assessed at every year, you have to pay that. But the state is relying so much on those property taxes, forget about getting them reduced, or even um, just it will just increase every year, just simply put. Okay. So when you're purchasing a house, guys, right, your client needs to have good credit scores. The reason being is that with good credit scores, it tells you your history, right? Your client's history, how were they keeping up with their finances up till now, right? They're about to make a large commitment. They want to be, getting a mortgage that's going to last 30 years, right? And it's a fixed mortgage. So it's going to be, that payment is going to be consistent every month. So if your credit score was already bad, why would a lender give you money when they know that you couldn't even handle these small amounts compared to this new large payment of mortgage payment, right? So credit scores goes as follows. The lowest you can go is around 300. The highest you can go is 850. Okay. 67% of the Americans have good FICO score or better. 67, right? I don't know if that's something to be proud of or not. You guys be the judge. But 67% of Americans have good. So that ranges between 670 all the way up to 850. So 21% for 670 to 739, and then 25% to very good, which is 740 to 799, and really great or excellent is going to be your 800 and above. Okay. So when you add these three numbers up, you get 67. Okay. So if you as a realtor have low credit score and you plan to purchase a house, you should work on your credit scores. If you have a client that you're working with and that tells you, hey, um, my credit score is not great, and you're showing them properties, you're like, hey, this is a good time to start fixing your credit score, right? So we have a company called where we give a referral to mycreditguy.com, but they can work with any company that they want. You just want them to fix their credit score. It will help them get better interest rate and better terms with the lender. Okay. And this is very important. The lenders will only use middle score. So if someone has 690, 700, and 710, the lenders is going to use the middle one of 700. Okay. Most of the time, when you speak to any client out there, they will always tell you the highest credit score, which is perfectly fine. But even the loan officer will tell you, hey, no, we have to use the credit score. Okay. Majority of these companies, like Credit Karma or anything else out there, will show you two credit scores instead of three. But when we as loan officers run their credit report, all three companies show up, and the lender will use the middle credit score. Okay. So your credit scores have this factors built in, right? So if you have $10,000 credit card and you owe $9,000 on that, that's a bad sign for them, right? You want to keep that below 30% or 15%. 15 to 30% you want your credit to be or below. If you have it at 0% and you have $10,000 limit, that's good. That means they're giving you a credit limit of 10,000 and you haven't used it in any. Okay? So the amounts that's owed, that affects 30%, right, of your credit score. Your payment history, that's the most important one, that's 35%. So if for some reason, if you stop making payments and you have a dispute with this company, instead of stop making those payments, still have that dispute, but still make those minimum payments so they don't affect your credit score. It's harder to go back and say, hey, I made these payments or there's a dispute. It's still better to make those payments on the minimum, so still have that dispute. So this way it does not affect your credit score. But you can see that 35% of your payment history is affects your credit score. And every time you try to open up a new line of credit, it's going to affect it around 10%. Okay. And your credit history, how long you had the credit history for, the longer the better. And that's around 15%. Okay. And then your credit mix, how many different credit cards you have and different companies that you're working with. And that's 10%. Okay. The biggest thing that you want to notice is your payment history. Again, if there's a dispute, don't stop making those payments. Rather, still make those payments and have a dispute on those. Okay. And how could you improve? Again, make your least minimum payments, right, on time every month. If you're not, it's going to keep hurting your credit until you fix it. right, until you start making your payments. So the last thing you want to do is basically not make any payments or stop payments. You want to keep your credit card balances low. Again, your utilization rate got to be low. It's an important factor because, like we said, you don't want to use up everything that they're giving you. If there's a limit, you don't want to use all that limit. Have that limit, but don't use it. Okay. You want to open up credit cards or open up accounts that's reported to the credit bureaus, which is majority of the credit cards that you're seeing these days. Okay. Only apply for credit when you need it. This is a big one. Don't just like, because there's so many companies out there when you're about to purchase something and they throw you with this line that, hey, you can save 20% on this order right now if you apply for our credit card, right? It could be Amazon, it could be, any shop at the mall, it could be Best Buy, anything. So anytime you're going through that, you think about it. Do you really need that? If not, don't apply it. Okay. That's how you're going to improve your credit score. All right. Any questions on credit score, guys? Any questions, concerns? All right, guys. Next, that you should be promoting yourself much as possible on social media and all the other websites you guys can. And we want you to learn and know about your squeeze pages. Some of you guys are expert at this. Some of you guys don't even use that at all. So this is for the people that are not using it. Guys, in your KV Core, if you go to Lead Engine, and in your Lead Engine, you want to go to Build Squeeze Pages. It's very easy. When you click on that, you'll see a page like this. You can create a market report, a seller squeeze page, a single property squeeze page, or a multi property squeeze page. It's a shorter link to your website, right? So, like I gave you example here for market report, I clicked on market report, put in Valley Stream, the area that I want to show the market report for, and I hit generate link. That's all we did, right? Just few clicks, and it'll give you this link. You can copy the shorter link and post it with any social media post that you're doing. Okay. Hey, take a look at Valley Stream's market report for month of June. You know, anything along those lines. So promote yourself with these links. The good thing about this is that when they click on this link, it will bring them to your page, to your website. And what it will look like something like this. That, hey, in Valley Stream, there are around 177 properties in the last 30 days. The inventory dropped around 5%. How many new on the market, how many off market, how many days on market. So a lot of details. So if a client that's interested in Valley Stream, these reports will bring some value to them. Instead of just sending them properties, you can bring value for different area code or zip codes or different counties or any areas that you want to be in. You can see the average home prices for that area and average sold price for that area. Okay. All this data is already getting pulled from MLS through your KV Core, and KV Core is already doing this. All you have to do is go to your squeeze pages. Again, I'm going to show you real briefly. Lead engine, build squeeze page, market report, and type in the area. Generate link, and then you will get your links here. Okay. Okay. Very easy to do, but it will really help you a lot promoting yourself online. Okay. Another thing on your website, guys, is that all your clients have access to a mortgage calculator. Okay. This mortgage calculator, I zoomed in on the bottom here, that your menu looks something like this: search for properties, sell, finance, your agent, which has all your information, and a mortgage calculator. When they're clicking on this mortgage calculator, they see a page like this. Already has some information pre-filled, but you can make your adjustments, right? If the property, if they're purchasing a $600,000 house and they're putting down 10%, and the loan amount is going to be 480, and the interest rates, we said that they're much higher, close to 7%. So we'll put 7. Property taxes, let's say they're looking in Long Island, home insurance we put. So this client is looking at, okay, so this calculator, a lot of clients like to use, maybe some of them already using it, but you as a realtor should know that this feature is on your website, and you guys should know how to use it. Okay, so if any of your clients have any question regarding that, you guys should know how to use it so you guys can help them out. Okay, question, concern on this, guys? PMI, if you just put 1%, if it's below 20%, if you just put 1%, which is few $100, on monthly basis, 1% is fine. PMI has some factors like how good or bad your credit score is, and that plays in. The lowest it goes is 0.55 to 0.85, but when we put 1%, it should be perfectly fine. You're welcome. Yep. All right, guys. Next is that you guys should be, sending out all the property that you see for flips, right? You want to be part of those transactions where you're representing an investor. The good thing about representing an investor is that if you give them a good deal, right, or find them a good deal, um, they will stick with you and even give you a listing when they fix up the property. It might take them a few months, and they say, "Hey, I want to sell the house now." If you are really professional, if you really gave them that wow factor, like, hey, this person really knows what they're doing, they probably give you that listing, right? So you can get a listing out of that. So you want to stick with your investors, even if for past year 2 years now there has not been a lot of good flips, just because of the properties not being vacant. But now if you're seeing any property that's vacant, you want to send that to your investor. So this was something that I saw recently, 36 Howard Street in Hempstead, um, listed for 349. Will it go for 349? Only God knows. You can, as realtor, you see this price, you have investor, you show them that, hey, it's listed for 349. See how much work it needs done to be done. Does it need a new kitchen? Does it need new flooring? Does it need the basement needs to be done? Whatever the issues might be, you guys add up all those expenses, right? That's going to be additional cost for your investor. So you want to do the math for them. Hey, this is what we're buying it at. This is all your expenses is going to be. And now this is what you're going to make. And this is what we're going to list it for, right? So you want to learn all those. So this way, when you're having a conversation with them, you know how a flip actually works. Okay. So if you guys have any investors, do send them this listing here. The MLS is 3487941. Okay. Again, in your KV core, again, you don't have to do a lot of research with individuals and all that if you want to just know what's on the market, right? I have a habit of just checking what's new listings in KV core, and it literally takes me less than 5 minutes. So this way, I want to show you guys that, hey, um, when you are in your KV core, you go to under listings, type in any area that you want to be at. I just draw a map that I want to see, some of a little bit of Long Island and a little bit of Queens, and just that targeted area. That's what I want to be in at. So according to that, there was a property in Springfield Garden for 650, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, right? There's a rental for in New Hyde Park. A lot of you guys ask each other, hey, do you have any listing available? Check MLS first. Of course, if they have it, that's great. They should be on MLS anyways, but check MLS, right? Same thing for your rentals too. So if you see a rental like this, $3,500, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and if you have a client in that area, find out more information from the listing agent and show them the property. Another nice one was for West Hampstead for 900,000, 4 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. Okay, Valley Stream. This is a really hot property. Majority of the clients that's in that area, Valley Stream, Elmont, Franklin Square. This is their regular specs. This is majority of them asking for around 600 to 650, and they're looking for 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. So this property is listed, I believe, 2 days ago, and it will be gone within a couple of days for sure. Okay. So same thing, more listings. Again, make a habit of checking your KV core, checking for new listings. All of a sudden, when you're doing this, you can say, "Hey, this property here, this is great for this client. This is great for that client." Then all of a sudden, you go to their profile and send them that link, right? So you want to be able to send these properties as soon as you see it to your client, so they know that this is on the market before they see it through Zillow or anything else. Okay. Same thing for commercial listings. For there's so many other websites for commercial listings, but I don't think anything tops LoopNet. Instead of learning eight other websites, just learn LoopNet. These investors that you're speaking with, and if they're looking for commercial properties, they're already on LoopNet. So you should be on it before they see the listing, and you want to be able to send them that before they actually see it. So LoopNet keeps it very simple. You see all the commercial listings. You only have to pay for this. Some of you guys ask me this, that, hey, why do I have to pay for LoopNet? You don't. LoopNet is only if you want to pay for this only if you want to list on LoopNet to find clients, right? So if you want to be a listing agent and you have this property, then you probably want to be on LoopNet so you can promote it, because they know that a lot of people are coming to LoopNet to look for commercial listings. Okay, but you don't have to pay just to view those properties. You do have to just log into account. I believe you can log in through Google or just create a free account. Um, but it's free to use, guys. Okay. So if you just type in Nassau, you'll see this is the latest one. This is also in Valley Stream, listed for 1.7 million. So if you can be part of a commercial listing and get paid good amount of commission out of this, once you guys start closing deals on that, I'm pretty sure you guys will show more interest in the commercial side as well. And the commercial clients are even, to say the least, they're even better when it comes to being serious. They have the money, they have the funds, they're ready to go, right? Majority of the time. So you want to start focusing on the commercial side too, guys. If you guys need any assistance for commercial side, talk to me so we can move forward with that. Same thing for Queens. When I just typed in Queens, and these were the listing that we saw here. Some of them are. This is on Rockaway Boulevard, 12406 Rockaway Boulevard, listed for $5 million, right? There's few stacks of properties listed, and that's for $5 million. Again, you have one for Long Island City for 3.4. So being in a commercial side, just the majority of these deals that you will work with, they are either a million, 2 million, 3 million, stuff like that. There's not a big difference of you doing a condo deal of $200,000 or if you're doing a building $2 million. It's just few additional steps where we can guide you. You don't have to worry about, hey, this is my first time doing it. You did the same thing when you were the buyer side. You had no idea what you were doing, and now all of us are at it. So you could do the same thing on the commercial side. Okay. Any questions, concerns, guys? All right, guys. Next, as realtors, yes, go ahead. It depends on the lease. If it's a rental, it depends on the lease. You get paid on the renewal or not, and it's just not just the first month. It's usually percentage of your annual rent. So it's a good commission from the commercial side, even if you're doing rentals commercials. Okay, but that's a good point. Yep, yep. Good. How are you? Commercial listing presentation. Okay. Yeah, that'll be a good topic. Maybe next week or the following, I'll come up with that. That's a good topic. So just knowing the commission structure, how much you guys pay, get paid, how you get paid, where to focus on. So Sure, and the steps and everything. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, yeah. No, we'll definitely go in depth over that. Meanwhile, as long as you know how to get started, just don't say no. You are a realtor, right? It's so hard to find clients. So when you have hear someone say, "Hey, I need a commercial listing, even for rental, or if I want to buy a building and have a business there," just don't say no. Talk to me, so we can get started with them. I'll definitely do a presentation for you guys next week or the following on this commercial listings. Okay. You're welcome, guys. All right, guys. Next, let's talk about how much money do you really need to get started to purchase a house, right? A lot of people start doing the calculation. Hey, I need 20%, I need 10%, I need this, that. So we're gonna go with the bare minimum situation right now, and we're gonna keep majority of the cost included, right? So let's say a house. The first thing you should do is look for your credit score, or your clients that you're speaking to should know what their credit score is, right? It should be their target should be as high as possible. We just saw, right? The highest you can go is 850. Do you need 850 to get a mortgage? No, right? But the lowest you can go is around 620 for FHA, right? Once you get 620, you're like, okay, fine, I'm able to get an FHA loan, right? So 620 should be a target. If it's lower, if it's higher, big ups to you. Next is going to be your savings, right? How much money you actually have saved up. So you need at least with FHA 3.5% down payment. So that's your program saying this is what you need as down payment. A lot of people forget that you also need closing cost. And for closing costs, we always say that go with the good number of about 4%. If you go with 5%, that's even better for you, because if in end of the day, if it's less, that's a good thing for you. But you don't want to get any surprises at the closing. So instead of putting 3 or 2, you want to put at 4%. Okay. So down payment 3.5, closing 4. Total, you need 4.7.5. Sorry. Let me just admit him. Okay. So down payment 3.5, closing cost 4%, total 7.5. Okay. So what is 7.5 when we are buying a house for $600,000, right? That person should have around $45,000 in their bank account saved up for this transaction. They should have more than that because they need more funds for their regular expenses. They need some cushion for emergency funds and all that good stuff. But we need to make sure that they have at least $45,000 to get started. If they don't, maybe they just need to save up more for a few more months or maybe another year or so, and they have that funds available, and then they go, right? First, they have their credit score 620. Now they have $45,000, and now let's look at their employment. If they're working a W 2, like they have a job, they must be working for 2 years, right? They don't have to be working in the same job. They could have a similar, they can go from McDonald's to Burger King's to Wendy's. We don't mind. But it just can't be like going from Wendy's to being a plumber and then becoming a realtor, completely different fields. That might be a problem, right? As long as it's in the same field and they have 2 years of tax returns and two most recent pay stubs, they can get started with the application just based on these things, right? There might be other factors involved, but just to get started, the realtor should know that, hey, I want to buy my house. I have my credit score at 620 and above. I have 7.5%. I'm going to live there because this is an FHA loan. I have my tax returns and I have my recent pay stubs. And if you say, no, I'm not working on W 2, I'm doing 1099, right? If you're doing 1099 and you've been doing the same thing for 5 years, then we just need 1 year of tax return. Otherwise, we just need 2 years of tax return for your tax. This is really important for you guys to just understand the concept that we need this to get started. If your client is lacking any of these, you probably want to tell them, hey, if your credit score sucks, maybe speak with the company that can fix that. If you don't have enough money right now, start saving up some money. There's not going to be an overnight solution for any of this, right? So for the employment, the same thing. Sometimes these guys want to add a co-borrower to have to qualify for, even instead of 600,000, they want to maybe buy a property for 675. So they need someone to qualify for even higher. Then now the credit score will be affected by the worst. If borrower one and borrower two, whoever has the worst credit score, the lender will go with that. The money that's saved up, obviously, it will be the same amount, and the tax return, both people. Okay, pay stub again, we need for both people. It can be cases where one person is on 1099, the other one is on W2. That's perfectly fine, right? We use as a combined income. So, any questions on this program, guys? Okay. So you should have a goal, guys. Maybe by end of the year, if you don't own a property as realtor, you should. How you gonna get started was with these following. Okay. So our loan officers are growing, guys, and weekly basis. Any new leads that come from Zillow, they stay in touch with you guys first and say, "Hey, you're doing advertisement. We received this lead. Did you get in touch with this client yet?" Make a habit of, as soon as you get a lead from Zillow, so this way our loan officer will get in touch with you as well. We already told them that even if you have not, as a realtor, got in touch with that client, these loan officers still will do that. Okay, they'll approach them as loan officers, which they are, and you will approach to them as realtors. Okay, and work with these guys. Any of them, we have no issues with. We even put up their phone numbers now on our website, team.com, so you guys can call them directly instead of calling me or Jas. Okay. ljmortgageteam.com. Okay, I'll put in the chat too, ljmortgageteam.com. Okay. You're welcome, guys. Okay. Oh, .com. I put it, yeah, .com. Yep, yep. And you'll see everyone there. You're welcome. Yep. And sometimes, you feel, when you want to have start building a relationship with one of these loan officers, where you ask them, common questions that you might have, how much down payment that we need for this client or that client. You want to ask them any question. If they can't answer for some reason, they'll ask us again, but most likely they're all licensed, so they should be able to help you guys out in any way, form. Okay. Refinancing, yes. Yeah. So we want, obviously, refinance option is there, but out of 100 people, like 90 of them are not doing any refinances. The reason being is that they already have good low credit scores that's locked in, and they don't want to touch that mortgage. So, yeah, some of them are doing HELOC, where they can get a second mortgage on the same property and maybe take out some money on that and have a second, completely second mortgage, and does not touch the old interest rates, right? But yes, we do. Yep. You're welcome. Yep. Right. So, guys, with LJ Mortgage Team, yes, we are growing with our loan officers. We are able to give you guys clear to close, and we do appreciate you guys giving us the business. Every week now we're seeing more business come from our LJ Realty team. You guys are referring to your client to us, right? We want them to go elsewhere just to compare, right? As long as they can compare that with us, is that they will save some money on the fees, the rates. And we'll give them, clear to close much quicker than anyone out there. We're really trying our best to, give you guys clear to close in 21 days, and that's what we're really striking to do. So thank you so much for supporting us. So hopefully you guys keep at that, right? Next, guys, I want to talk about disclosures, right? They were Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead, Joseph. Yes. Yeah, two things we check. Yeah, so two things. One is that the approval that you have, right? Whatever the amount is, we want to make sure that that amount is accurate, right? Majority of time, it could be higher or it could be lower, right? Based on whatever we ask those questions, how much income they have and how much expenses they have, their debt to income ratio. Um, and the second is going to be when the time comes for the loan estimate, right? We actually provide a full loan estimate without any editing, where there's some other loan estimates that this is cut off, that is cut off. We don't do any of that. So that loan estimate that the lender sends us, we review those, all the fees, to the client, and we always tell them, and the government requires this as well, that we provide a loan estimate so the client can compare that with other banks, right? So when we give them that, they can go back to their old lender that gave them the pre-approval and say, "Hey, I have this loan estimate. What can you guys do?" So end of the day, your client will have a clear choice. Like, "Hey, I'm going to go with this bank instead of this bank." You walk. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfectly fine. Yeah. So you can get, like I said, on our website, ljmortgageteam.com. You can get in touch with any of these guys here. You're welcome. Yeah. All right, guys. Any other questions? All right, guys. So next is your disclosures, right? We're going really strict with this now because we're doing a lot more closings. We have a lot more team members. So we want to make sure that all the paperwork is done in timely manner, right? So we need the from our end, being from the real estate, our agency disclosure signed. The dates for those must be before the contract date, right? The best thing to do is that as soon as when you're submitting your offer package already has your agency disclosure sign. As long as they're signed one time, that's all we need, right? As soon as you have those disclosure e-sign, or you have a wet signature, just email that to us. Or you can throw it in our teams, and our loan assistant, right? She will review that and add it to our CRM system. So this way we don't have to wait until the closing. There's been many times where we are exchanging the checks and you guys are looking for your agency disclosures. You might have it in the in your house, or in your laptop, in your email, but you don't have it with you there, right? So we don't want to wait until the closing anymore. As soon as you're under contract, we'll be on your back that, hey, we need these disclosures, right? There's about 20 deals right now that's have under contract, and uh, she'll be, Sukman, our assistant, will be going through all those files early next week and asking for those disclosures. If you need to get those disclosure signs, please have them signed. So this way, when she checks the system, they're already in there. Okay, and we're checking dot loop, right? That's the first system that we're checking. It's very simple to do. I know you majority, just for the few of you guys, that way we have to wait until the closing. That really breaks our pattern. Okay, I hope you guys understand and actually provide this in timely manner. Okay, so you guys, next we got a few minutes left that we want to talk about. Is like, hey, literally the first half of the year is gone, right? You have to ask yourself that, hey, first half is gone already. How many closings did I do? How many deals are under contract, right? Just those two questions will tell you an idea: is your license really worth it, right? Having a real estate license, is it really worth it, right? You need to have closings, you need to have deals under contract, and ask you, just complete the second half, right? First half is done, you can't do much about that, right? If you need to start working on, if you need to get more closings, you want to be under contracts, you have to be doing your activities. So if you are a buyer's agent, your activity should be showings. How could I show, right? Every weekend, every weekdays, how could I work with my clients and I can be showing? You're doing that part. the closings will come out of those showings. The closings will not come in any other way. Nobody will call you one day and say, "Hey, want to send out a contract and I'm gonna put your name on it." Nobody's gonna do that, right? So you have to be the one that's involved in that client's transaction and be proud of it. That hey, and just don't give up on on 25th showing. I know 25 showing seems a lot, and they are. They're very time consuming and all that. But if your client is coming up 25 times as well, and there was no shows, maybe they are serious, but they just can't find the right property, right? I would not recommend giving up on those clients and just make sure you're showing them. If you're using KV Core, you're using Stratus, you're using whatever you're using, we want to make sure that out of that, the result is that actual showings, right? And if you're a listing agent, you want to get appointments. You want to speak with the owners. There's no other way of getting listings. There's so many people ask, hey, I want to be a listing agent. Yes, we want you to be a listing agent. But how are you going to do that? You're going to make appointments. How are you going to make appointments? You have to lead gen. You have to, get your name out there, do postcards, do online marketing, get your name out there. And even when the, call calling is not blocked anymore, start call calling, right? Right now they're banned, but there's other forms where other people are getting appointments and they're getting listings. Okay. Once you have an appointment, it's not like automatic that you will get a listing. You still have to compete. So, you need to have your presentation tight. You have to have you got to know what you're saying. You have to build trust with that, seller, so they're confident that you can sell their property. So, but the main thing is that if you're not meeting with any seller each week, there's no way you're getting listings out of that. Okay. So, being a listing agent, you want to focus on appointments. Okay. Guys, if you guys need help and you want to join a team, join one of these teams. We have Team Gold with Rupinder. She can help you guys, guide you guys, provide leads from Zillow and elsewhere, and actually really help you close more deals. So if you want to get in touch with Team Gold, you have your Rupinder's information here. Okay. Next, we have Team Green. You have Hassan, and this is his information here. Soon going to be a loan officer as well. He's a home inspector, have done plenty of deals where he can help you guys out and close more deals. And then you have your Team Blue, and that's by AP, and he can help you do the same. It really depends on who you're comfortable with. Okay. We had some changes with Team Purple, so we will announce a new team leader probably next week or before that, but we'll make it official for you guys for Team Purple. Okay. And next is that please reserve this date for July 29th. This is a Saturday from 11 to 1. This will be an in office meeting. So a lot of you guys are demanding it, which I really like the fact that you guys are actually asking for this now. So, back to office meetings, we'll do that once a month. Okay. It will be every month, once a month. We're going to start with July and it will be on July 29th. It'll be in office. We'll have our loan officers. We'll have our realtors. They actually provide, each other information, mingle. So this way, we can get to know each other a little bit better and network with each other, right? So it'll be now 11 to 1. Okay, 11 to 1 on Saturday. Yep. Yep. So we do have 2 minutes, guys, left. Questions, concerns, anything in your mind, anything that your clients are telling you about the market, anything you guys want to share for the assistant programs? Okay, so there's a link for that. I'll share that with you probably after 1:30, and you can. We had a meeting few months back with that, so I'll probably share that meeting link with you, and I'll send you the website so you can see what kind of program that they will be eligible for and what steps they need to take in order to qualify. Okay, you're welcome, guys. Anything else, guys? Anything on your mind? Sure. Yeah, I believe it. Again, we have that recorded meeting, and I have some slide. This one here, so I'll go back to that. I don't want to promise you for 1:30, for but definitely around 5 or 5:30 today. Okay, I'll share that with you guys. Yep. You're welcome, guys. All right, guys. Any other questions, concerns, anything in your mind? All right, guys. If that's it, yeah, go ahead. Yes, guys. Anytime you have an offer accepted and you need an inspector, support our team. There's no difference between Mr. Raza, Hassan Raza, compared to any other inspector out there. He will give you guys better service, charging you less. For your client, obviously he's going to keep it real with your client. Because they're purchasing a house. But end of the day, he'll provide a great service to you guys. So please do support him. All his information is on our website on ljagent.com under home inspection. So please support Hassan, please. You're welcome. Yeah, sure. No problem. Thank you so much, guys. I got Julian. You can stay on the line, but everybody else, you guys can get going, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. I know you guys are super busy and everything like that, but you guys putting in some time to watch this video for an hour. Thank you so much. You're welcome, guys. Yep. You're welcome. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. You too. Take care. Yes, Julian. How are you, buddy?